All right, so today is Saturday, August 22nd, and here's what I got done this week. I didn't post a video last week because I basically spent the entire week kind of preparing for making some carbon fiber parts. And so I alluded in a previous video, I think the last one, that I've got an idea to make a custom part that'll be really exciting. So I had to build this oven to cure the carbon and just kind of learn the whole system, and that was a little bit of a time sink. But the infusion process is really cool. I took a little video of that, so I'll cut to that now and show it. And here was the finished result. This is my first carbon fiber part attempt. So it's not terrible, but it's not good enough to be used. I left the vacuum on too long after the infusion was done. So it kept pulling the resin out, and so it made a kind of a crappy finish. Also, when I was laying it up, I don't know if you could see it, but when I was laying it up, I made some mistakes kind of with the lay of the carbon, so you can kind of see some ugliness to it there. And also, trimming the carbon fiber is way harder than I was expecting. So there was a couple little trimmed hairs that kind of got under the bottom of the mold. So I got better at that, and I ordered some more stuff to give it another try. I've kind of been slowing down and diverting my attention the last week or two because I'm getting really close to finishing up and needing a hanger, and I still haven't found a hanger spot for the plane. So I've been putting a little bit more focus into that because what's the point of racing to the finish line if you got nowhere to go? But anyway, I got the cowling is all fitted up and almost entirely ready to go, with the exception there's a small trim that still needs to be made right there. And but yeah, I'm really happy with the way the cowling works. It's definitely a two-person job. If anybody can do it with one person, my hat's off to you. That'd be an impressive feat, because you know, you can't be on both sides at the same time. But anyway, what I ended up doing is, after I mentioned in a previous video that laying up the tape along the edge and then taping, you know, to here and letting it overlap on the cowling allows you to know where exactly the edge is here. And then once I got it really close, I drilled these 3mm holes with 1/8 inch holes and put M3 bolts with fender washers to just clamp it down, so that way that small hole has a little bit of play within the cowling strip larger hole where the cam lock goes. And that allowed me to do the last kind of fine detail tuning. And so now, once everything is completely finished being trimmed up, I'll just pop off one bolt at a time and just slowly drill that hole a little bit bigger and get it to align exactly with each cam lock location. So I think that will get the job done and allow me to make sure I don't miss. I think it came out really, really good. I'm really happy with it. So you could see a nice even gap the whole way around, nice and centered. And I don't know if I can even show it. It's centered up and down, centered left and right. There's a little bit of a ugliness. The cowlings as they came just would not fit up right here properly. Off the plane or on the plane, I just couldn't get it. So I'm going to have to put a little body filler right here to just fix that gap and make it perfect. But yeah, I'm really satisfied with the nice tight seam the whole way around. And yeah, so in hindsight, I have a CNC router, of course, and what I should have done is made some sort of jig that fits over the tube just inside of the propeller flange. And I could have made some sort of jig that sat perfectly centered and sat perfectly centered kind of up to the you can't really see it, the flange of the cowling. And then it would have held it perfectly centered up here while you're working back here. Because one of the biggest problems is anytime you make an adjustment back here, of course it affects the front. So you're just going, you know, back and forth, left to right, forward and back. And even with 2 people, it's a pretty time consuming process. So, but yeah, I'm really satisfied with the way it came out. And yeah, so some other stuff is I got the first window bonded here, and I'm really satisfied with how that came out as well. You could see nice even Sika flex around the edge, and it actually looks pretty nice just how it is, because the primer is nice dark black, and then you put the Sika on there. The only difficult area is around the handle, and so it's really important, I think, and the factory told me, to bond the window while it's on the plane with the door closed, because if that just causes it to tweak just slightly, and these composite parts do have some good flex in them, then if you bond it off the plane, it might not hold that shape perfectly. So once you bond the window in, now the door is never going to shift. It's going to be perfect. So this went well. I'll clean this little edge up here when I take the door back off before I paint the whole fuselage. Pop that handle out and deal with it there. But yeah, for the most part, it came out really good. This window is currently bonding. I think it's pretty much dry, but I'll leave it overnight here, or probably till Monday at this point. So basically, this is what it looked like when I did this other one as well. Essentially, all you do is, well, I can go to the other side to show that. I just lined the outside perimeter of the window with fine line tape, because it's got flexibility and it's really got a good adhesion, and then, you know, widened it up with regular masking tape. I did that on the inside and the outside, and then you sand down, of course, the window and the canopy, and put your Sika activator, primer, and then Sika flex, and then you bond it in. So then I mentioned also in another video, I used the suction cups to kind of temporarily hold it in place, and that lets you make small adjustments, but the window stays. Actually, it more or less just sticks to the Sika flex, and you could probably get away just doing it that way, but I really like this idea. And then same thing here is what I did over here. I just took some foam blocks. These are really like high density foam. I've been using them for so many things on this plane since the very beginning, from propping up the fuselage to this. And yeah, the same piece of foam that's just been lasting me forever. So anyway, yeah, just cut out these small blocks, and then you put the tape really tightly down around the fuselage, and that puts the pressure right there onto the bonding part of the window. And it does do a really good job, see if I can get in there, of holding the window flush to the canopy edge. And you can see it here as well. It comes out really nice. So yeah, I'm really satisfied with it. And then what I did was I took a squeegee and just wiped it so that it's thin as possible on the tape, so when you remove the tape, it doesn't leave any of these little kind of flakes. But they trim off really easily with a razor, so no big deal. I'll clean this window up later. So yeah, I think that's just about it. And like I said, the hanger situation's kind of been a little bit demotivating, because I am right here at the end. I took the panel out and put it over there. There's just those last couple tweaks that I needed to do, which are all done now. And the tubes are trimmed and ready for install. So the dash will go back in next week for sure, for hopefully its last final placement, and which would allow me to bond the windshield in as well. And then we're ready for paint. So yeah, that's the update for this week, and have Have a good weekend, everybody.